It's an absolutely wonderful morning here in Chandidasa. And if you know me, I really love to explore those alleyways that seem to go nowhere and see where they pop out. They often pop out in really weird and wonderful places, and you have a pretty good experience when you do that. So today I'm going back to a place that I walked past on my previous video. So on my previous video, I came quite far to the west of Chandidasa, about 2 kilometres from the centre of town. And I was just looking around at the new beachfront path that's being made. But I did pass a little alleyway called Gang Kusambi, which looked like that. And I thought, gee, I'd really want to explore that at some point. I didn't have time in my previous video, but today I'm going to go down this alleyway, see where it leads to, and see what adventures we can get up to. I know I'm in an area that is a little bit like the west side of the bypass in Sun, or a little bit sort of out of the main tourist area, but there might be some warungs and cafes around. So join me today as we go and check out this western part of Chandidasa. Now, knowing me, I'll get to the end of this and it ends up in another swamp or another plantation of some sort. We are walking through a banana plantation as it is anyway. But the thing that really struck me about this alleyway was that it looked so rural. It looked like a goat track, but it had a formal name to the road, which is quite unusual. Normally a place like this little road here wouldn't have a formal name. And so, oh, this person has used palm tree sort of bits to make a fence. That's pretty cool, eh? Oh, that's really nice. Hello, Pa. Yeah, nice. Very rural down here. But it seems to be a little village stuck in a little plantation, which is quite beautiful, quite beautiful. Oh, this person's using palm fronds to do their little fence there. Most of the buildings I'm seeing here are quite rudimentary construction, although they do have some brickwork on them and some concrete, which is not always the case in poor villages. I can go left, straight, or not right. I'll go straight. Oh, I love this. Yeah, really nice, all these coconut trees around the place. It looks like a lot of these coconuts fall, and they reckon you're more likely to get struck by a coconut than you are by lightning, is it? Or a shark attack? I can't remember which one it is, but you've got to be careful when you've got so many coconut trees around and you see coconuts already have fallen on the ground. You're seeing chickens all around the place. This is real village life down here. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, just a beautiful place. There's a great feel about it because it's got so much shade. All right, I can go left or right. I think I can see more hope going right, so I will do that. Oh, nice, really nice. Interestingly, like this, yeah, they're little concrete houses actually. Interestingly, even in the poorer parts of Bali, the construction generally, not always, generally is sort of out of concrete or stone or brickwork these days, where I think in other parts of Indonesia, in the poorer areas, they haven't quite gotten to that level because it's a lot more expensive than getting a piece of bamboo. As we move further along here, it seems to thin out a little bit. I'm seeing like, there's something in that tree there. I'm not sure you can see it on the screen. I'll see if I can get a bit of a zoom for you. It looks like it's just there. Almost like a little bird feeder or something like that, isn't it? Well, it's not a bird feeder. It's almost like a little bird box or something like that that someone's built out of traditional materials. Well, here we go. Coming up to something a little bit more that looks like a car can get down, but still quite rural. Oh, there's a little factory there. That's not a factory. I've seen one of those before. That is a cockfighting ring, I'm pretty sure. We'll just have a quick look at that. Oh, someone's got a little villa there, I think. That doesn't look like a local home, that one. There's a dog in there. Yeah, that's a cockfighting ring. So that is a classic look of a cockfighting ring. So if you come across a building like that, you're almost certain to know that that is a place where they do the cockfighting. And it still goes on quite a lot here in Bali. Okay, we're coming to, I don't know if that's a tarred road. Maybe once upon a time it was. It's a little bit dirt now. but it's a little bit more established. It looks like a lot of trucks have been coming down here, which means it must be an access point for that beachfront path construction, I think. That's what it looks like to me. Probably explains why the old road's gone as well. So I think I'm walking in the direction of the beach because of those sort of truck tyre marks, and I did turn left, which sort of gives me sort of the feeling I'm going towards the beach. So as I was walking down there, which I don't know how far it is, and I don't know if I can get through to the water, but I think I should be able to. I thought I'd talk about a little bit about how you say I and you and yous in Indonesian, and I think there's a few misconceptions about actually how you're supposed to do it. There are different levels in Indonesian of saying stuff. You know, there's a more formal way, the more polite way, and then there's a casual way if you're just having a chat with friends. But one of the things that is a fail-safe is when you say the word I in Indonesian, the fail-safe way to say it is saya. And the reason you say that is because it's a little bit more stiff and formal. You normally wouldn't say it with a friend, but if you did, it's okay. You're not going to sort of commit any sort of faux pas. But it's actually really well respected when you're talking to an older person or you're talking to the police or a government official. You would normally say saya, yeah? You might not even say saya sometimes. You might even refer to yourself in the third person. So you could actually say, you could refer to yourself as sir, you know, or mister. So Mr. wants this, Mr. wants that. That'd be pretty polite. You wouldn't normally do it, but you could, especially if you're trying to explain something. Oh, here we go, all these trucks loaded up with rocks. Okay, so here we are, beautiful beach. Oh, that is a beautiful, beautiful beach. Pantai Sengkidu. I think that's what we're calling it, Sengkidu. That is just phenomenal, just looks really great. Unfortunately, and at the moment there is already a path along part of that, but unfortunately, it looks like they've covered the entire beach. If I get a closer look at that, I will. They've covered the entire beach in rocks, and they'll reclaim that beach, it looks like, for the path. Well, that's a bit sad if that's what's going to end up happening there. Oh well, I don't know what this little area is. There's a temple down here, and what have we got up here? I don't know. Bangunan Penunjang Kegiatan Nelayan. Oh, some sort of fishing building. Yeah, probably where the fishermen get together and have a little bit of a chat and a coffee and that sort of stuff. A nongkrong maybe. That's what the coast looks like down here. You couldn't really swim down here anyway because there's all these coral areas. But there are a few beaches there that seem to be getting covered up, which is a little bit sad. So the one that we're looking at now, there, I feel a little bit sad about that because that looks like a wonderful, wonderful little beach. And you don't have to put a beachfront path in every single section, do you? Like, you could pick and choose. That view down the coast, look at that. Isn't that just wonderful down the coast there? You can see a lot of the ships lined up for the oil terminal down there. Well, there is some progress. I really am curious as to what it's going to look like in the end, because if it's really good, it's going to be just amazing for this place. Nice little resort, that. What resort is that? I wonder. What if I can skirt across the front of it and into that area? That might be good, rather than having to go back up that dirt road again. All right, so yeah, they're unloading the rocks onto the beach here, and I guess making a new path. That looks a bit wide. I think they're going to have to probably fix all that up and make it. Maybe the beach will be preserved somewhat. These little apartments and stuff look absolutely phenomenal, don't they? Nusa Indah Bar and Restaurant. There it is. I don't know, it's not that pleasant to be honest. But anyway, that's just life, isn't it? You know, the current situation. Yeah, the sooner this is done, the better. So yeah, that's Nusa Indah, that place. That looks like a nice little location. This is a Chandi Beach Resort and Spa. They've got a beautiful little beach here, just a gorgeous beach. And this resort looks absolutely incredible. Getting a bit of noise at the moment from that construction work, which is unfortunate. But apart from that, look at it. What a beautiful spot. Beautiful, beautiful. They've got quite a lot of guests here as well. I'm seeing more guests down on the beach here than I've seen probably in my whole trip to Chandidasa so far. Have a look at this beach down here. Isn't that beautiful. Nice turquoise water. Very bright at the moment. It's only just hit 9:30 in the morning, but it's already starting to heat right up. I've noticed a couple of people down in the water over here with a dog, and they've come out for their early swim. I don't know if I can scoot around the back of this excavator or not. That would be my plan if I can do it safely without getting my feet wet. Yeah, wonderful part of the world down here. Really just spectacular water. I actually feel like it's a little bit better than the centre of Chandidasa in that way. There's a little road up there which I can't get up, so I'm gonna have to go back the other way. I might try and cut through the hotel, because that's probably a little bit safer than trying to get past that dude over there with the excavator. This place looks amazing. It's Chandi Beach Resort. It's a little bit old school in the styling, which is nice, but they've obviously kept it fresh, and there seems to be so many guests here, so you know that the rooms are sort of well used and so forth, and not sort of looking stale, and they've got enough money to invest back into the property. Yeah, nice little spot. Nice reception area as well. Over the past couple of videos, you'll notice that I've been down that beachfront quite a lot. One of the difficult things that I've been finding is that it's a lot of the hotels and villas and guest houses, because they're butted up against one another, they sort of block access to the beach, public access to the beach. So a lot of these beaches you cannot reach unless you go through a hotel, and that is problematic. Look at a little road down here. Okay, with warungs. Nice little area. Not a busy road, back road. And the bad thing about that is that you can't access the beach freely. You can't walk along the beach and find a way out, because there's always someone with a fence. It's all the way up and down. Private property cannot walk through here. And you can understand, if you own a house right on the beach, you don't want people walking through your property coming to and from the beach. The problem is there's no access ways in a lot of areas, so you're stuck. As a person that wants to go to the beach and is not staying at a beachfront property, you're stuck. So this beachfront path that's being built is actually going to change all of that. Everyone will have access to the water now. There just might not be a beach there anymore. I hope there is. Gee, I hope they figure out that beach situation and get some more sand back on. They say they are. Oh, another warung smiley. I keep seeing that advertised everywhere around town. In fact, this seems to be a centre of warungs, restaurants, massage places, cheese tea in Chandidasa, ice boba. Yeah, this looks really a nice area. Sengkidu, this is. So we're probably now, maybe 3 kilometres away from the centre of town if you walked it. That's another little access road down to the beach, of course blocked off with construction traffic at the moment. Hello. Morning. And then this goes down to some other beach apparently down here. Another warung. Okay. Banjar Pakraman. Okay, so this is Banjar Mandira, which is part of the Desa Adat Sengkidu. This is a nice little village area. It's got a concentration of houses here. So obviously, before tourism sort of came into town, they had the village here, and sort of the tourism sort of built around it. Look at that. They've got a building an ogo. Hello, bikin ogo ya. Ah. Oh, bagus banget. Yeah. So it's that time of the year again where all the Banjar, oh, I can see an access down to the ocean there. I might go down there. All the Banjar are making their ogo for the Nyepi celebrations. And Nyepi is that day of silence where the night before that day of silence, they'll parade the ogo in the local village, or might even go into town or whatever, depending on where you're located. A really fantastic time to be in Bali if you've never done it before. Something quite unique in the world and pretty cool as well. It's not just about, like, it's not like lockdown in COVID or anything like that where you just sit in your house for 24 hours. It's a bit different to that. Hello. All right. That Menerima Kos. That's basically a boarding house. So if you want to rent a room down there for like real cheap, you could do that. I sort of see that could be an option for some older people who have got no money. They're living on a pension or something like that. And if they can still access it while they're overseas, you could go and get a room in a place like that, be quite happy. Quite happy. You could probably even ask the host to cook your dinner every day and pay them for it for a small fee, and they'd probably do it. You'd probably just get whatever they're eating. You know, those sorts of things are available all over the place. All over the place. But you do need to be a little bit adventurous, you know. This is sort of outside the main tourist area, although there are some tourists around. It's one of those things, like it's like, you know, west side of the bypass in Sunor. I mean, originally that was a little bit more quiet than it is now, and you could go over there and get a cheap room. I mean, you still can get a cheap room over there, to be honest. I mean, I've seen rooms west side of the bypass for under 3 million a month, and they're pretty good, but I wouldn't want to live in one full time because I like my space. But for a single who just wants something really basic, easy. Here it'd be much cheaper than 3 million. Be lucky to be more than a million. Oh, be lucky to be more than 750,000, I reckon. Now, here we go. Look at this. Oh yeah, nice. Oh, look at that over there. That's interesting. That reminds me of a video I saw of Chandidasa. I don't know if it was this particular location, but I saw someone walking along one of these sandy fronts here in Chandidasa. And because the ocean sort of washes up against these rock walls like that, yeah, in one location, someone was walking along, and what had happened is that the sand underneath where they were walking had hollowed out. And what was happening is the ocean was actually under there, yeah? But they didn't know. They were walking along and they dropped, you know, like maybe 10 feet into the water below, into a sandy cave, a sandy abyss. And they had to be rescued out of there. I mean, that is like nightmare fuel, isn't it? Absolute nightmare fuel. Not sure how the beachfront path is going to come along here, whether that land is actually this property's. I doubt it. It doesn't look like it. It looks like reclaimed land. So a lot of the properties along here have done that sort of thing where they've built their own little breakwaters, or the government's built breakwaters, and then they've tried to extend their property a little bit. I reckon that they might reclaim that. Over here, you can actually see a breakwater in the water here, but it's not really doing anything. It's too low down. I don't know why that was like that. So obviously they're going to have to work on that as well. Plenty of work to do here. Those trucks are coming up and down those roads like you wouldn't believe, everywhere. It's pretty unpleasant, but it has to be done. You know, it has to be done to get this work done. Just coming back onto this little main road now, across the road from that bunjard where they're making that ogo. See what else is down here. I really like this little village. I really like it. Like, if you could get some accommodation here, even in that resort, which seemed very popular and very busy, it's just really nice, you know? Really nice, very nice. Or even like a villa, or there's probably some other hotels around here which I haven't done any research on. Yeah. It's just so peaceful and quiet, except for the trucks that come up and down here occasionally, but you know, they're not the end of the world, to be honest. See that? There's all these little warungs around the place. That one's not open at the moment. I'm assuming it's probably going to be open at night. It's sort of an area of Chandidasa that I had never heard of before. I know that people who are a lot more familiar with Chandidasa will know about this place. Down here, so many villas. Look at that. Everyone's got a villa down there. Yeah. All these signs around the place as well. That's typical for Chandidasa. Basically, it's a sign saying you're not allowed to catch taxis, you're not allowed to catch grab cars or go cars around here. You have to use the local transport corporation, which is code for you need to pay a higher price, basically. It happens in a lot of areas in Bali. It doesn't happen so much in other parts of Indonesia. It does happen in some parts, but not in many parts. Bali's really strong on trying to keep taxis out of their area. I mean, I remember even sort of 20 years ago, I went down a particular street and flagged a bluebird in, like, I think it was Seminyak, but it happened to be a street owned by a particular taxi corporation. And there was nearly a fight. I had to get out of the taxi. I was forced out of the taxi, and there was nearly a fight, not between me and the perpetrators, but between the people who were stopping the cab and the cab driver. They were threatened to hurt him. That sort of stuff still goes on here. Hello. A little bit noisy. Yeah, and that sort of thing still goes on today with the way that these areas are protected as well. And I understand why local villagers want to protect their source of income, because otherwise what's the point of tourism if you can't earn money from tourists? I guess the problem is that quite often for short trips, the prices are unreasonable. I can understand getting a car and driver for a day for 600,000 or whatever it is, or even a half a day, or maybe going from Chandidasa down to Sanur, getting a car and driver. No problem negotiating that with a car and driver. But say if you want to go from your hotel back to your room and it's a kilometre, but you don't feel like walking or you can't walk, you're not going to get a trip for 10,000 like you might on a grab car, or 15,000. You might be charged 100,000. And when it starts sort of adding up, it becomes uneconomical to actually get out of your hotel. That's one of the problems. Now, I don't think that's really been resolved in Bali yet. Pondok Pisang, oceanside bungalows, a quiet place, another villa place down there. Wow, that's awesome. All these little tracks that go down to the ocean side there that I never knew about. What a good part of the world. But to sort of get your bearings of where I am, I'm in between Chandidasa and Manggis. If you have heard of Alila Manggis, that big resort, that really luxury place, I'm in between there and central Chandidasa. So not far between them, but it's far enough that you probably can't, well, you can walk it because I've done it, but you're probably not going to walk it. You're probably going to need transport of some sort if you want to get in between the places. But this place on its own does feel sort of self-contained, in that if you didn't have transport, you'd still be able to get everything you wanted here anyway. So, you know, if you're staying at the Ananya, which is down there, the villa place, well, there are warungs around here that you can probably walk to quite easily. Bapak siapa namanya?
Komang.
Komang, Bapak Komang. Cari apa, Pak?
Cari daun dulu.
Ya.
Istri saya deh.
Oh ya, cari daun pisang.
Ya.
Untuk masak atau untuk apa? Dijual?
Dijual.
Dijual di pasar, Pak.
Ya.
Biasanya dapat berapa rupiah per bungkus?
10.000.
10.000 per bungkus.
Ya.
Oh.
Saya cari.
Oh, di sini harus cari yang mana? Yang besar atau ada?
Besar, yang besar.
Harus besar dan nggak ada mungkin lecet atau?
Ya.
Oke.
Oke.
Terima kasih, Pak. There you go. That guy's got a little business of his own, searching for banana leaves. Mari, Pak. Nggak boleh masuk ke sana ya?
Proyek.
Proyek ya. Oh, di sini ya, Bu. Berapa jauh?
5 kilo.
5 kilo. All right, we'll see how far this beach is down here. I don't know how far it is. The woman says 5K jokingly, but it didn't seem too much of a joke, because then she started describing where it is. Go to Buita and then turn left, do this, go straight. It's like, okay. It sounds like a long way. Hopefully it's not too far. I mean, it is getting fairly rural now, although there is some sort of restaurant down that little place. So, I mean, we still have some civilization here. I'm not seeing many other foreigners walk around. I saw 2 so far walking along this road. So there's some activity, but it's not like Kuta or something like that, is it? Actually, it is a bit like Kuta, because Kuta's dead as well. It's not like Kuta in the year 1995, let's put it that way. Okay, so we have a wooden house B&B up there, Rumah Kayu. That's what, I mean, this is literally what wooden house means, Rumah Kayu. I don't know why it's written twice, but anyway, we have wooden house there. We have this beautiful, beautiful tree next to a temple. That is a, I don't know if that's Beringin, which is a banyan tree. I don't know if that's banyan. It looks similar to one, but I'm not really that knowledgeable on trees. But I'm going to go up here and have a look anyway, because this just looks beautiful with all these moss-covered steps. Let's see if we can have a look inside this little temple over here. Whew. Oh, nice. That is quite spectacular, isn't it? I get no end of pleasure looking at Balinese temples, even though they're everywhere. I just find them so visually appealing. As I walk through this area and the heat starts to build and I sweat a little bit more, there's an unmistakable smell of bats in the air. And that was not something I was expecting. There's no caves or anything around here. Maybe they hang out in some of these forests, but there are certainly bats around. I can smell them. So I'm walking along this little stream here, and then there is these construction workers all around the place. They've got a little block of land there they're camped out on, and they've got little tents where they can have a bite to eat and a rest, and then obviously all the trucks are here. So this is just a monumental project, and I can see now how it could cost so much money. It's really expensive. And yeah, I mean, looking at what the infrastructure looks like right now and what it will be, you can see why it needs to be done. If you look at that, there's a sort of a beachfront path there that's just not really up to standard. And then they're filling all this in all out the coast. I might actually go up that way, get across this bridge and see what it looks like down there. It is really beautiful, a beautiful part of the world. And because this is not really developed down here like it is in other parts of Bali, if you had a really big beachfront path coming past these jungle areas, that would be amazing until, of course, it gets developed and chopped down to put another villa in. But up until that time, what a beautiful part of the world this is going to be when the path is finished. Although that appears to be some sort of temple there, so maybe that can't be developed. Oh, I hope not. But there is a lot of empty land down here, isn't there? Maybe it's like the village land and they'll keep it sacred for time in memoriam. That'd be nice if they did that, but you know, commercial realities sort of dictate that it will be sold at some point. Normally happens, doesn't it? Unless you're already rich in your heart already. What I find interesting is that this seems to be a semi-cleared block of land. Perhaps there was some building going on there at once upon a time, because I can see a destroyed building over there, either half built or half destroyed. I've got a funny feeling it might be one of those half built projects. Someone sort of ran out of money. You know, people over the decades have really thought this is the place where the next tourism boom is going to happen, and it hasn't really happened here in Chandidasa as people had expected. I don't know if this path is going to create a boom, but I just think it's going to give a bit of vitality to this area, and that's what it needs. It doesn't need a Canggu style property rush, a gold rush, so where everyone's sort of clamoring over one another to build a new villa at cheap prices and then flogging it off to some digital nomad who's willing to pay, you know, $400 a week, when really the price should be nowhere near that. I mean, we don't want that, and I don't think we're going to get it. I think it's going to be a slower pace of development here, and I sort of think that's a good thing. This beachfront path is probably not going to be that appealing to many younger people. It's mainly going to be older people who are not really as likely to want to get one of those villa-style properties anyway. I could imagine this developing, but just slower style. I think that's what we want. Coming around the corner now, I don't think we're far away from that Alila Manggis, to be honest, because I've stayed there once before a long time ago, and I sort of feel like the outlook was a bit like this. Anyway, oh, it is. This is it. It's one of these properties is Alila Manggis for sure. Maybe the one that's lower down, I think. That was my memory, it was a bit lower down rather than one of these higher up properties. So I must be in Manggis now. I must have walked to Manggis all the way. There's an excavator in the water over there. I don't know what they're doing. Building some sort of breakwater. Yeah. Well, it's looking pretty good over here in Chandidasa. I guess the thing I've learned about this part of Chandidasa today is that it's really a little bit self-contained. It's not necessary to go into the center of Chandidasa to really enjoy your time here. And that means you can spend a week or two in this particular part of Chandidasa, which is about 3 or 4 k's from the center, maybe about 5 k's where I am now, and still really be self-contained and enjoy yourself. And maybe you'd only nick in sort of once or twice a week to central Chandidasa when you wanted to go to a particular bar or restaurant that you're familiar with. I think that's sort of the vibe I'm getting in this part of town. And one of the problems with central Chandidasa these days is that there are a few older hotels which are beyond hope. They can't be restored to their former glory, but they take up so much land on the foreshore there that they're a bit of an eyesore. They take up room and take up energy out of Chandidasa, and I think until that problem's fixed, which I think is a massive undertaking, really massive undertaking, maybe there's an option of staying in a more sort of vibrant area like down here. And when that beachfront path is actually fully connected to the main centre of Chandidasa, I mean, this whole place really opens up, because walking between the centre of Chandidasa and here becomes just so easy. I'm really positive on the future of Chandidasa, and in particular, this part of Chandidasa. I think in the future it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of that beachfront path, even though there is a lot of disturbance going on at the moment. And of course it's not perfect. It never will be perfect, but it's better than what we've had in the past. So if you're thinking about coming to Chandidasa or the surrounding areas, please do it. Please do it. I I think it's really well worth a visit even right now, even though there's a bit of construction going on. Just choose your guest house wisely and you'll have a great time. Thanks for coming along for the ride today, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sonora and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.